Sorry about that, I dropped my gum. I dropped my gum, and today, the American League Division Series is going to be Game 1. Probably the biggest favorite of all four matchups are the Baltimore Orioles. We saw how the Oakland A's were favored in their matchups, and they had to win with 1 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th. But Kansas City in the first round won a big matchup. And they did, as here's Jim Palmer. Don't worry about this. The stats really don't matter, and they don't match up really. 3-time Cy Young Award winner. And now we're going to start off with Freddie Patek. You know, Kansas City with really the worst record in the American League. They played Boston, beat Boston, and that'll be down low ball 1. So Freddie Patek early on for Kansas City. You know, of all the excitement, Kansas City wants to get a couple runs early in the first 3 innings. There's Patek, and what a catch, 1 out. What a catch by Boog Powell. I never knew he could get up there. Patek, Shaw, Hopkins, Otis, Oliver Rojas, Keo, Pinella, and May. And that's going to be the lineup for Kansas City. And now here is Paul Shaw, who's hitting .250 in the playoffs. This is, remember, Kansas City's 4th game. Kansas City won in 3 in Boston. Remember, you play all 3 on the road. And that was big. So Palmer, it's going to be 1-0. Jim Palmer, that'll be fouled off 1-1. So Shaw, for Kansas City, it's blue versus orange. We'll go back to their normal Baltimore, whatever, game 2, the whites. And that'll be low 2-2. You know, Jim Palmer through the regular season was good. You don't believe all of those. He won 3 Cy Youngs. And fouled it off. It'll be still 2-2. You can see Baltimore heavy favorites to win today. The 2-2, and struck him out, and Shaw will go down. That's going to be 2 outs. Kansas City nothing, Baltimore nothing. And now we go to Gale Hopkins. Gale, and oh, they call that one a strike. Kansas City, again, in the first 3 innings, they like to lead after 3 innings. They would play small ball just for the lead. And here's Gale, and that's going to be a ball inside. They would, because they want to try and get the momentum out of Baltimore. And that's going to be inside, 2-1. So Jim Palmer, one of their best. They would like to sweep to rest their pitchers. They would. Underneath and picked up. What a move to Powell, and they get the out. Oh, 1-2-3. What a move. Their second baseman, Buford, Blair, and Robinson. So Dick Drago, 0-1. He pitched 3 innings in the playoffs. And he was not very good at all in those innings. So now Donnie Buford will start off. They would love, when I mean love, they would really like to get on top early, and that's going to be a strike. Remember, all these Orioles, it's the first time they've hit. Bottom of the first inning, Drago, and that'll be a little looper right to Lou Piniella, 1 out. don't realize Lou Piniella was a Kansas City World. Buford, Blair Robinson, Powell, Brooks Robinson, Elrod Hendricks, Retman, Johnson, and Bellinger. So the biggest one, remember Davey Johnson in the first, sort of. That'll be a little looper, and caught. 2 outs. Oh my goodness. What a catch. What a catch there. Here is Frank Robinson now. And all of them, it's going to be their first at-bats. This should be it. And it is. So a quick bottom of the first inning. Kansas City and Baltimore are tied. So here's Amos Otis, Otis Oliver, and Rojas. It's Amos Otis, who hasn't had a base hit in the 3 games. And that'll be a strike. 0 for 4 in the last game, Amos Otis in Boston. That'll be fouled off. Remember, it was Kansas City beating Boston. And it was the Yankees beating Detroit, so both road teams in the AL won. It was going to be Detroit and Oakland and Baltimore and Boston. That would have been a good one. But Kansas City and the Yankees had really upset them. The 0-2. Struck him out, and that's going to be 1 out. Otis sits down. Second strikeout of the day for Jimmy. And they don't have to overdo it. There's Bob Oliver hitting 300 for the playoffs, 3 of 10. And that's going to be a strike. So Bob here for Kansas City. Everybody's trying to look for the first hit. Sometimes these first games can be low scoring, tense. You get to a point, usually in games 3, 4, and 5, where you get loose and you just start hitting and everything to that effect. So, base hit. No, what a catch. Frank Robinson. Brooks Robinson, sorry, number 5. And Brooks Robinson, what a catch. So both teams have a great catch. Here's Cookie Rojas in a strike. So Jim Palmer is like, I thought 21 pitches, but here we go. That'll be a ball inside. I thought that there was going to be, 1 base hit for each team per side right now. The 1-1. Swing and a miss there. They're down to their last strike of the inning. And Jim, the pressure really is on them. Remember, in baseball, they're heavy favorites, but you still got to play the games. The 2-2. Struck him out, and that's going to be it. We go to the bottom of the second. Bottom of the second inning. It's Kansas City, nothing, and Baltimore, nothing. Here's Boog Powell. 4-pitch inning in the first inning. Right now for Dick Drago, who had a terrible first game. And that's that's going to be a strike for Boog. Boog Powell, that's going to be a strike again. Quickly 0-2. 4, 5, and 6 coming up. It'll be 1-2. First at bat for Powell in the playoffs. It'll be 2-2. 3-2. 3-2 for Brooks. That'll be a little looper on the ground. This will be the first ground out that we had today. 1 out. We had a couple great flyouts. Actually, I think that's the second ground out. First one for Kansas City. But here's Brooks. Brooks, number 5. He had a great play at third in the last inning, and that's going to be a ball here in Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Brooks Robinson. High pop fly, center field. And running in, that's going to be the catch, 2 outs. Amos Otis with the catch in center field. Here's Elrod. Elrod Hendricks. Hard to say with Baltimore here in game number 1, best of 7. And that's going to be a ball there. 1-0, bottom of the second inning. It's going to be high, 2-0. Dick Drago. Little looper, and that's going to be another catch. What a catch there. And nobody's gone on base. We go to the third. Here's Joe Keogh. Rick Keogh played for the Penguins in the early 80s. Joe Keogh. I don't think any sort of relation. That's going to be a ball inside. As it's Kansas City nothing, Baltimore nothing. And that'll be high and fouled off. Top of the third inning. Will be fouled again, 1-2. The count's not really going deep. Elrod Hendricks, the catcher for Baltimore. And the longer this goes, and that's going to be the first base hit of the day, and it'll go all the way to the wall. Joe Keogh will go to second, and it'll be a stand-up double. And Joe Keogh is big for Kansas City. That is huge. Here's Lou Piniella hitting .364. They want to get him to third. They want to get Keogh to third, and this is the first base runner of the day, 0-1. Jim Palmer in a little bit of a trouble. Keogh at second with nobody out. Here's Lou. They'll be high, 1-1. Last game, Lou Piniella was 2 for 4. And that was a game against the Red Sox, which got him here. Oh, broke the bat, but it'll get him to third. They go high, and Palmer, but they'll get their man to third with 1 out in sacrifice position. So Keogh will go to third, but Powell with the out. Here's Jerry May. Jerry May, remember the Orioles are defending World Series champions in 1970, beating the Cincinnati Reds. This will be a base hit. It's 1-0 Kansas City. And Jerry May. Jerry May off Jim Palmer. And it is 1-0. Right there. Good night. And quiet as Freddie Patek will be up. He's 0 for 1 today. And Freddie, that's going to be a strike. Lined out in the first inning. Freddie Pontek, here's Jimmy Palmer, top of the third. The pitch, low 1-1. Freddie Pontek 1 for 4, a double in his last game. Top of the third. 1-0 Kansas City, and that'll be on the ground and a base hit again. Will they go to third? They're going to throw to third. He's going to go, and it's going to be first and third with 1 out. Freddie Pontek with the base hit, and now, oh, he was going on the pitch. Now they have a sacrifice at third. Here's Paul Shaw. And Shaw, that'll be a strike. Paul struck out in the first inning. 1-0 Kansas City. Top of the third inning. And that'll be on the ground and another base hit. It's 2-0 Kansas City. The throw to third now, and he's safe. And again, it's first and third. Paul Shaw with an RBI. You can see him there, and that is huge. Here's Gil Hopkins, 0 for 1 today. Jim Palmer in trouble. Could be down 3-0. It's Gil Hopkins, grounded out in the first. 2-0 Kansas City. High and deep to left. This one is back. And it is caught. But now they're going to come home. And it should be 3-0, and it is. So a sac fly to center field. And here's Amos Otis. He struck out in the second. 0 for 1 today, top of the third. And Palmer, that's going to be a ball outside. Twice a Gold Glover. Amos Otis. 1-0, and that'll be on the ground, 1-1. Well, I'll tell you what, right now in the top of the third, big Kansas City inning. Swing and a miss, it'll be 1-2. And they are one pitch away from getting out of this nightmare if you're Baltimore. Kansas City wants to keep it going. It's going to be a ball 2-2. You say make the last strike a good one. High and chopped at center field. Should be an out, and it is. We go to the bottom of the third. Score 3-0.
Leading off, for the Orioles, the designated hitter, number 14.
So here we go, bottom of the third. That's going to be outside, ball 1. Here's Merv Retmond. And Dick Drago, that's going to be a strike there, 1-1. So Dick Drago, who had a terrible first start, he came in here, and right now he's doing really well. In the bottom of the third, hasn't given up a base runner yet. Neither did Jim Palmer, and look what happened in the inning. Top of the third, so Retmond will foul it off again. Retmond, Johnson, and Bellinger are 7, 8, 9. The 2-2. 3 Kansas City. Here's Davy Johnson on deck, and Bellinger will be number 9. That's going to be fouled off again. You want to get an early out. You don't want Baltimore getting back to their beginning of their lineup. And that's going to be a base hit, and that'll get them on. So Merv Retman will get on with nobody out. And here comes Davy Johnson. So Drago, whenever you have an ERA like he does, people start wondering, when you give up a base hit with nobody out, oh no, is this the inning he melts down? And here's Davy, bottom of the 3rd. And that's going to be a strike. So Davy's first time he's up. Bottom of the 3rd inning. That's going to be deep to left field. And back is Piniella, but he'll have enough time, and that's going to be a catch, 1 out. So Bellinger will be up, 1 out. So let's see. Remember the 1-0. Well, I think it was 2-0 was the sacrifice, but they got another one. Bellinger is going to foul that away. It's 0-1. So Dick Drago. And that first one out, and that's going to be a strike, 0-2. Kansas City up 3-0, an upset, really. That'll be a base hit, and it's going to be first and second. So first and second with 1 out. They go to the top of the lineup now. Here's Donnie Buford, 0 for 1. The first 6 are 0 for 1. Buford, that's going to be fouled away, 0-1. So Dick Drago now will line out in the first inning. Drago is the guy that the sun's shining on him now. 2 on with 1 out. Did he swing? Yes, he did. And it's going to be 0-2. If Drago can get out of here, it's going to seem like he got the good end of a stick in Buford. It's going to be 0-2. 0-2. And low, 1-2. He swung it. The other one should have been 2-1 at this point. But here we go, bottom of the 3rd. Struck him out, and that's going to be 2 outs. Drago's not looking good. He got him out of this. Look at this. Wow. Donnie just, wow, fell for it. Now here's Paul Blair, 0 for 1. And that's going to be a ball outside, 1-0. So Blair flew out in the first. Paul Blair, 0 for 1 today. Swing and a miss there, 1-1. So 2 on with 2 outs. They want to at least get 1 run and make it 3-1. It's going to be low, 2-1, bottom of the 3rd inning. Two-1. It's going to be fouled off, 2-2. Dick Drago, can he get out of the inning? Bottom of the 3rd, 2 on, 2 outs. On the ground and a base hit. The bases will be loaded with 2 outs. They throw home. He's coming in, and he get him out. That was not what they wanted. And it wasn't what they wanted. Keogh throws him out at home. And Retman, good night. Oh, so close. Now they could have had bases loaded with 2 outs. Baseball's a game of moments. It'll be high ball 1 as we begin to top the 4th. Oliver lined out in the 2nd inning. Bob Oliver for Kansas City, top the 4th inning. And Jimmy. High 2-0. Bob Oliver, 3 for 10 his last 3 games. Of course, that's him in the playoffs. That'll be Oliver on the ground. He goes to the ground to throw to first. They get him 1 out. That's Bellinger. What a play by Mark Bellinger. Bellinger, the shortstop. Good night. And Boog Powell loved it. There he is. 108 feet. It's 35 yards. 36 yards. And that's going to be a strike to Rojas. 0 for 1. He struck out in the 2nd inning. And Palmer. That'll be on the ground. Can they get him out? Johnson and Powell, 2 outs. Davey Johnson was the MVP of the 1970 Orioles when they played the first ever simulation series against the Red Sox. They won it in 7 games. Joe Keogh, and he ended up scoring. It was 1 for 1. Doubled and then ended up scoring a run. And Jimmy Palmer now, the 0-1. And a strike there, 0-2. Joe Keogh. Let's see if he can get on. That'll be on the ground. Bellinger should be easy to Powell. And that's it. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Kansas City, all their damage in the 3rd inning. So here's Frank Robinson. He flew out in 1st inning. Dick Drago and Robinson, that's going to be foul. Frank Robinson played for Cleveland as a player manager later on. Dick Drago struck him. So Brooks Robinson flew out in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1 today. Drago, 43 pitches, bottom of the 4th, 1 on, 1 out. And that's going to be a ball 2-0. Brooks Robinson played 20 seasons, scored 1,329 runs. And it'll be 3-0 if they put 2 on and put Elrod Hendricks up. Remember, he lined out in the 2nd inning, and it was a big line out. I mean, it was tough to get. The 3-0, and that's going to be a strike. Three and 1. 3-1. Now to be on the ground and foul. 3-2. 3 and 2, bottom of the 4th inning, 1 out. Struck him out, and that's going to be 2 outs. And Brooks will have a seat to third strikeout for Drago. That's the second slider to the left-hand side, to the first base side, that has gone out of the strike zone, and they threw out Davey, who was it, Bellinger? I don't know, I forget. There were 2 strikeouts. Here's Elrod. 2 outs, man on first, and a strike again. The slider is big. Lined out in the 2nd inning for Elrod. Bottom of the 4th inning. 0 for 1 is Hendricks. And the changeup 0 and 2. There you see it. I mean, a lot of people thought that it was going to be all Baltimore in this series for 4 or 5 games. I was one of them. But right now, Kansas City's up 3-0. 1-2, bottom of the 4th inning, 2-out pitch. Oh, and it's deep to right, and Elrod Hendricks has made it 3-2. Upper deck home run. A big upper deck home run for Elrod Hendricks. And Elrod Hendricks, with 1 swing, has made it a 1-run game. Earl Weaver looking at that. And Elrod Hendricks, his first home run of the postseason. And he brings in Boog Powell, and look at this, never a doubt. There it is, and watch this, upper deck. So Merv Retman now, 1 for 1, 3-2. And Retman gets a base hit, and they're going to go to the outfield. Will Retman get to second? Otis will throw it in, and he's going to be safe. So Merv Retman, who was thrown out to end the last inning, and it is he gets a double here, so a base hit could score him. Here's Davey Johnson, 0 for 1. Batting 8, Drago. The tying run at second, that's going to be a strike. So we flew out in the 3rd inning. Davey, a good defensive day here at second base. Bottom of the 4th. 1 on, 2 out. Strikes there, 0 and 2. Bottom of the 4th. 1 more strike, that'll be it. Davey trying to tie it up. You never know in baseball when you can tie it up like this. The 0-2, and struck him out, and he knew it. Another slider, but Elrod Hendricks. And the home run here makes it 3-2. Here's Lou Piniella in the top of the 5th. He grounded out in the 3rd inning. He's 0 for 1. And Jim Palmer shut down Kansas City now. Will Kansas City get a run back? It's going to be a strike. So Jim Palmer. And that'll be fouled back. Lou Piniella. Later on, he played for the Yankees and managed the Reds and Mariners and all that. Piniella, and that's going to be 1 out. Davey Johnson with the catch. And Lou is frustrated. Same with Kansas City. Here's Jerry May. He had a single, an RBI, and a run. They had an explosive 3rd inning, nothing in the 4th, and let's see what happens now. Nobody on, 1 out. And that's going to be a strike. He's calling him low. May was 0 for 2 in the last game and had a walk. And the last game was game 3 against Boston. And that's going to be a ball. Of the 4 division series games, there was only one that went 2 games, and that was the Dodgers in Atlanta. And May, that'll foul it off. There's only one that went to 2-game sweep, and that was the Dodgers, both games in Dodgers Stadium. The Dodgers won. The last one was our only extra inning game. Top of the 5th, the 1-2, 1 out, and low 2-2. Here's Palmer. Jimmy struck him out, and that's going to be 2 outs. May will sit down. 4 strikeout for Jim Palmer. And here's Freddie Patek, who's 1 for 2, had a single and a run. Top of the 5th, nobody on, 2 outs. And he'll foul it away, 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, top of the 5th inning. And a swing and a miss again, 0-2. With 2 outs, nobody on, 3-2 Kansas City. And that'll be on the ground, should be Johnson to Powell, and that's it. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th, and the Baltimore Orioles. It's only 3-2 now. Bellinger, Buford, and Blair. Here's Mark Bellinger. Deep to left, and Pinella will be underneath. 1 pitch, 1 out. Lewis back there. Kansas City can feel the momentum shift, and they know it. They know they need maybe a run or 2. Here's Donnie. Bottom of the 5th inning, and Buford swing and miss, 0-1. So on Buford, and that's going to be fouled off. There you see 59, Dick Drago. This is going to be pitch number 60. And high 1-2. Bottom of the 5th inning in game number 1, and it hit him. Buford will go to first. And here's Paul Blair. So Paul Blair, and they're going to go to second. There's a strike, and he's safe. He got in underneath, and Buford with the steal, and he's now the tying run with 1 out. Right there, and they throw to second. He's already on second. So Donnie Buford is on second. Here's Paul Blair. So now the tying run on second with 1 out. Blair, and that's going to be a little loop for the right field. And it'll hit the ground. Will he come in, and he drops it, and it's going to be a score, and it is. I don't know if that's going to be an error or not. It wouldn't be an error on the ball hitting the ground. It would be an error on it coming out of his glove. Might be a hit and an error. And we got to see it's 3-3 now. Oh, how big that is. And Drago now, 1 on, 5th inning, they throw, and he's safe. And they're stealing bases left and right. Frank Robinson 0 for 2. And quickly, it's going to be fouled away, 0-2. First pitch was right down the middle on the steal. Now it's 0-2. Fouled again. Dick Drago is in, nobody in the bullpen. The leading run is on second, bottom of the 5th, 1 out. Drago, And little chopper. Maybe. He's out. 2 outs. Oh, that was quick. Frank Robinson almost beat that out. And good for Cookie Rojas. Here's Boog. He singled and a run. His single was a line drive off the second baseman's glove. He picked it up, couldn't throw him out. That's going to be a strike. I think he said they went. 10 seasons, 302 home runs. Bottom of the 5th inning, 1 on with 2 outs. Boog Powell. Oh, he reached for that one. He didn't like that. But they throw it away. And it's still going, and it is going to be 4-3. He threw it away. Freddie Patek. And that was bad. That was absolutely bad. Look at this. And Patek throws it away. Wow, was that ugly. Oh, Freddie didn't want to have that happen. The inning should have been ended. And now it's 4-3 Baltimore. And now Brooks. Bottom of the 5th, and that's going to be fouled off 0-1. He struck out and flew out, but unbelievable. Should have been the end of the inning, and he threw it away. 4-3. Baltimore leads, and that's going to be on the ground 0-2. So a buffer run is at second. That'll be a little bumper again. Second to first, they get the out, and that'll end it, but that's Cookie Rojas with a good throw, but an error, and a big one for Kansas City. It's 4-3. So the one earlier was just a hit here in the 6th inning. The earlier one where Baltimore hit it was just a hit. The one where it went the outfield off the glove. The error was Patek, and that hurt. So here it is, 4-3. And I thought Shaw was going to hit that thing to the outfield. It'll be 0-1. Top of the 6th inning. Here's Jimmy is settled down. Palmer reached for that. Should be easy. Third to first, 1 out. You know, Brooks to boot. Hard throw. That's like 33 yards. Here's Gale Hopkins, top of the 6th inning. And high 1-0. Gale Hopkins. 4-3. That'll be on the ground. Brooks. DeBoog, 2 outs. I mean, what a come from behind. It was 3-0 Kansas City. Look at Brooks. Right to Boog. 2 outs. And here is Amos Otis, center field. And a ball outside. Struck out and flew out. 4-3, Baltimore leads. It's 3-0 Kansas City. They haven't done anything since the 3rd. That's going to be a strike there. A little bit high, but 1-1. It's going to be low, 2-1.
You got 2 balls, 1 strike.
2-1. High and fouled off. So it'll be 2-2, top of the 6th. 4-3, Baltimore. And fouled it again. Jim Palmer, his 75th pitch. Here we go. Struck him out, and that's going to be the end of the inning. We go to the bottom of the sixth. Baltimore looking for a buffer run. You have Hendricks, Redmond, and Johnson.
Leading off for the Orioles, the catcher.
There's only one team that hasn't seen action, and that's the Pittsburgh Pirates. But first, that's going to be Patek to throw the first one out. And I'll tell you what, after that error that made it 4-3, Patek, you got to do everything right. Boy, did that hurt. Here's Merv. He doubled and he singled. He got thrown out at home plate. Earlier in the game, that's going to be a strike. 2 for 2 today. Again, a single and a double. High and deep to left, and this one is foul. Oh my, almost. Elrod Hendricks has the home run. Merv, it'll be 1-2. Drago, 2-2. So here's Drago now. And fouled it off. 2-2. Again, Redmond. It'll be 3-2. Can Redmond get on for Davey, who struck out and flew out? Oh, he got jammed on this. Pinella will be underneath, and he'll make it 2 outs.
Now back, second baseman.
You know, here's Davey Johnson, who struck out and flew out. On to the 6th inning. And on the ground, this should be easy, unassisted to first. Well, we go to the 7th inning. The Orioles 4, the Royals 3. So here's Bob Oliver. He lined out, grounded out. You're in the top of the 7th inning. Palmer, that's going to be a strike. Boswell and Rickert are in. And you can see that they are warming up. Jimmy Palmer, 75, 76, 77, pitches a strike. Quickly 0-2 to Oliver, who's 0 for 2 today. And they want to get on base because right now they're not. And it'll be 1-2. They're only down by a run. They had a 3-0 lead. And then it was 3-0, and Elrod Hendricks hit a 2-run home run. That's going to be to left field, Oliver, and it is caught. What a catch in left field. You saw it was going foul, and then I'm like, all right, it's foul. Here's Cookie Rojas. And then it was caught. So Cookie 0 for 2. And that's going to be a strike. Cookie, and that's going to be to left field. And underneath, 2 outs. Here's Joe Keogh, 1 for 2 today, top of the 7th inning, and that's going to be low ball 1. So Joe, 1 for 2, and Jimmy Palmer. That's going to be to right field, Joe, and underneath they're going to make the catch settled, and that's going to be a catch. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Orioles are up by 1.
Now pitching
So Al Fitzsimmons will be in 2 games in the Boston series. He actually got the win in one of those games. And here's Mark Bellinger batting ninth, 1 for 2 today. So Fitzsimmons will be in, and that's going to be a ball outside. Kansas City needs to hold the Orioles in the next few innings. That's going to be on the ground and foul, 1-1. They have to. High to right field. And that's going to be an out, 1 out. Donnie Buford hit by a pitch, stole a base, ended up scoring a run. And he had that great catch in left field. Last inning, that's going to be fouled away. Al Fitzsimmons with 1 out. Fitzsimmons, swing and miss there, 1 and 2. The bullpen is Nelson and Jim Rooker. So here we go, Donnie Buford. Again, unassisted, 2 outs. I think that's Keogh at first. No, Hopkins. He had a dead last inning and he got an unassisted there. Here's Paul Blair. 2 singles, hit an RBI, and scored a run himself. He'll be down low, ball 1. Paul Blair, I believe, right field. 2 for 3. He fouled away 1-1. Kansas City, 3rd inning looked really good. They haven't done anything ever since. So it'll be 2-1, bottom of the 7th inning. Fitzmaurice, I kept calling him Fitzsimmons. Not even close, it's Fitzmaurice. Hey, Listed, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Finally doing a game by my regular voice here in Cambodia. So Paul Blair, 2 for 3, bottom of the 7th inning, the 3-2. And it's going to be 4 and 2, so Fitzmaurice walks Blair. I'm calling him Fitzsimmons. I don't know why I did that. Sometimes I do that. To see, I saw the back of his jersey. I'm like, what in the world? It's going to be safe there. Frank Robinson, 0 for 3, bottom of the 7th inning, 1 on, 2 outs. Fitzmaurice. And that'll be a hard hit to left field. This one is back. It's going to be over Pinella's head. It could be 5-3 very easily. And they're going around third. They're going to bring it in. It's going to be 5-3, Baltimore. Frank Robinson, his first hit. And Frank Robinson, good night. It goes against the wall. And Frank Robinson. Look at that. Perfect. And that's a buffer run they needed. Here's Boog Powell. Now 2 outs. Frank with the double there. And Powell will foul that off. 5-3 Baltimore. Here in game number 1. Single, an RBI, and a run. That single, though, was a line drive up the middle off the glove of Rojas. Bottom of the 7th, the 0-1, and that's going to be 1-1. So the crowd in Memorial Stadium chanting "Let's go O's." The 1-1 fouled away. And again, they're 1 pitch away. Bottom of the 7th inning, 2 outs, 1 on. Boog Powell. It'll be on the ground. Picked up, Rojas to first, to Hopkins. And that'll end the inning, but Frank Robinson gets the double, gets the RBI, and it's 5-3. Dave Boswell.
Now pitching for the Orioles, number 32.
And here's Dave Boswell now. Toward the end. Hey, Les said it's good to see you. I wish. I'm in Cambodia right now. I am a school counselor, so maybe I wish. That'd be great. CBS called. I don't know. Probably finish out the year. That's going to be a out. That was good. Donnie Buford in left field. Lou Piniella. The line drive, one out. Buford made the great catch 2 innings ago. And here's Jerry May. Single, an RBI, and a run. Kansas City again scored all the runs in the 3rd inning. Haven't done anything ever since I ball 1. Same pattern. Here's Watt and Rickard. Same pattern. Against Boston, Kansas City got all the runs. And that's going to be low, 2-0. A lot of people think it's a foregone conclusion. The O's against the A's in the ALCS. And you just don't know in the NLCS. We haven't seen the Pirates. Man, that's going to be a strike, 3-1. I thought that was going to be 4-0. We haven't seen the Pirates yet. That's the only team we haven't seen. And they walk them, and Jerry May gets the first with 1 out. And Dave Boswell having a little bit of trouble. Yeah, I know. That is, and this is 1971, so there are a few bad calls here. 1 on, 1 out. Freddie Patek. Oh, what a terrible blunder by Freddie, and that's going to be 2 outs. Freddie with the throwing error that allowed Baltimore to go up 4-3. And that was an absolute disaster. And here's Paul Shaw. A single and an RBI. That was a horrible disaster. They just walk somebody and you bunt like that. And it's going to be down low, ball 1. Tying run is Paul Shaw. 1 for 3 today. They'll be high 2-0. Boswell is having trouble with control. He really is. The 2-0. Oh, they call that a strike. It'll be 2-1, the expanded 10 and under strike zone. The 2-1. Low, 3-1. They're going to go to second. Buford to throw. He's safe. So a base hit can make it 5-4. Boswell, it'll be on him rather than Buford. Here's the 3-1. Top of the 8th inning. And a strike there, 3-2. 3-2, 2 outs, top of the 8th. A base hit by Shaw. And now all of a sudden, it'll be a 1-run game. High pop fly should be it. Should be it. And underneath, they make the catch. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Orioles will try and expand their lead. So Roger Nelson will pitch. Look at those glasses, man. Roger Nelson will start out. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Orioles looking to try and get ahead. And here,
the third baseman, Rook.
but it'll be fouled away. 5-3, bottom of the 8th inning. The Orioles have a 2-run lead. That's going to be fouled off. Roger Nelson comes in, not to be confused with Roger Nielsen, the Rangers coach in the 1980s and 90s. It'll be 2-2. Brooks Robinson 0 for 3. Base hit. And that'll be 3-2. Elrod Hendricks will be up. Two-run home run. That'll be on the ground. Should be able to get him. Contact to Hopkins, 1 out.
Now
So 1 out, bottom of the 8th. Freddie Patek again. I mean, it's a 7-game series. But Elrod in the 4th inning, 1 for 3. Hit the 2-run home run. And inside ball 1. So Elrod Hendricks. This is big. Roger Nelson. And a strike, 1-1. And Baltimore gave up 3. They were down 3-0. And then the 2-run home run really sparked them. It's been 5-0 Orioles. 3-0 since his 2-run home run started the Orioles scoring. The 2-2 bottom of the 8th. And foul back. Elrod Hendricks. Bottom of the 8th, the 2-2. High and underneath. We'll get it. That's going to be 2 outs.
Now number 14.
Merv Retman now. A double and a single. 2 for 3. And Roger Nelson, bottom of the 8th. That's going to be inside ball 1. So over, and that's going to be 2-0. The 2-0. On the ground should be easy, and that is 3 more outs. Can Kansas City get 2 to tie? 3 for the lead. So Hopkins, Otis, and Oliver. Eddie Watt will come in. Don't worry about the stats. And here's Eddie Watt to try and get the save. Kansas City has not had a base hit since the 3rd inning. They've gone 0 for everything since the 3rd inning. And that's going to be down low ball 1. Gail Hopkins is up. Eddie Watt trying to throw this thing down. And low 2-0. So Eddie Watt will come in to try and get the save. Early on, it's 2-0 to Gail Hopkins. That'll be on the ground. That's going to be Davey Johnson. Picks it up. They throw to first. He's safe. It's got to be a base hit. He dove after it. It is a base hit. So here's Amos Otis. He's a tying run. We're in the top of the 9th inning. 1 on, nobody out. And that's going to be a strike going 1. He struck out in the 6th. This is huge. Amos Otis. The 0-1. That'll be on the ground and foul. 0-2, the top of the 9th inning. Baltimore 5, Kansas City 3. Little bit, that's going to the wall. Amos Otis, it is not to the wall. It'll be 2 on, nobody out. And the tying run is on first. And for the first time since the 3rd inning, they've had base hits. And that was on the inside, kind of jammed them, but good night. And now here's Bob Oliver, 0 for 3. 2 on, nobody out. Eddie Watt. Why would you do that? That's an infield. You can't infield fly on a bunt. That is an error on the umpires. You cannot infield fly on a bunt, Bob Oliver. That was absolutely horrible. And here's Cookie Rojas. Eddie Watt was had absolutely terrible control. And that's going to be a strike. So 0 for 3, 0-1, and that'll be hard hit foul. So Cookie Rojas. The 0-2. It'll be 1-2, and it gets away. So a base hit can tie it up. See, that's the thing that hurt for the Owl. That's the absolute thing that hurt. With no outs, they could have double sacrificed. So the 1-2, top of the 9th inning, 1 out, Cookie Rojas. 2-2. Earl Weaver. Just absolutely nail-biting. Eddie Watt. The 2-2, top of the 9th. No, and it's going to be 3-2 low. And Joe Keogh will be up. He had a double and a run, but here's Cookie Rojas. The 3-2, 1 out, 2 on. Top of the 9th. No, and it's going to be the bases loaded with 1 out. And here's Joe. Huge at bat. 5-3, top of the 9th. Joe Keogh. Bases loaded, 1 out. Oh, fouled it away, 0-1. Very, very tense. Game 1 here in Memorial Stadium. Joe Keogh, base hit, they could get a lead. Outside, 1-1. You can see their first 2 base hits since the 3rd inning. Here in Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Eddie Watt came in, couldn't get the outs he needed. Swing and a miss there. It's going to be 1-2. Eddie struggling right now. The bases loaded, 1 out. Top of the 9th, the 1-2 to Joe Keogh. High into left field. And Buford, no, it's foul. 1-2 now, top of the 9th, 1 out. Joe Keogh. And stays alive. Eddie Watt, this will be pitch number 19 in the inning. Maybe the biggest at-bat of the year. That's going to be a ball, 2-2. Very close. The 2-2. 3-2. Lou Piniella lined out in the 8th. And here we go. You can't get more dependent than this. Ball 4, and they walk him in, and it's 5-4. Oh my goodness. And here's Lou. Lou Piniella lined out in the 8th. So here they go, top of the 9th inning, bases loaded, 1 out. And it's going to be inside and low, ball 1, 1-0. Eddie Watt, this has not been what he wanted. 2-0. Oh my goodness. 5-4. Boy, that error looks crazy now. The 2-0. Oh, stays alive, 2-1. I mean, stays alive. he would have made contact, that would have been a double play. 0 for 3 is Lou Piniella. Bases loaded, 1 out. A strike, that was a sacrifice waiting to happen there. Oh, this is big. The 2-2. No, they say no. It's going to be 3-2. Jerry May, he's going to come in. He has a single, an RBI, and a run. The 3-2. That's going to be to right field. Will it hit the ground? Yes, it will. 1 run will score. They're going to throw home. Will they get him? He's going to score at 6-5, Kansas City. Lou Piniella, a 2-run RBI single. And it is 6-5. And Tom Dukes will come in. Eddie Watt. And that was tough for Eddie Watt. And here's Tom Dukes now. Jerry May. 1 for 2 with 1 out. And a strike. Oh, it was in a little bit. Jerry May, a single, an RBI, and a run. My Eddie Watt wishes he had a couple of those calls there. 6-5, Kansas City. And the ball outside, 1-1. Jackson and Rickert. We're in the bullpen now. 2 on, 1 out. Tom Dukes, a new pitcher. No, 2-1. So now Baltimore has to bat in the bottom of the inning, and you know that can be crazy. 6-5, Kansas City. High pop fly, and underneath, the catch. 2 outs. May is out there, and now we go to the top of the order. And here's Freddie Patek, the single and a run. He's off the hook now, unless he commits another error. Top of the 9th inning, 2 outs, 2 on. That's going to be ball 1, 1-0. He's got to feel good he's off the hook there. Eddie Watt's the guy that's on the hook now, and Patek, it might be 7-5. They got to throw it in, and the bases are loaded now. So here's Paul Shaw, 1 for 4. 2 outs. Bases loaded. And that's going to be a strike down low. My goodness. Paul Shaw. Single and an RBI. The 0-1, top of the 9th inning. And low, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. So here we go, the 1-1, and high into left field, 1-2. 2 outs. A long inning for Kansas City. The 1-2. Oh, he reached out of that. That was going to be ball number 2. Johnson to Powell. And you know what? Kansas City, they might pull an upset. Tom Bergmeyer, 1 save. Let's see right now. That was the game 3 save. Here's Davey in the 6th inning. Let's see if Kansas City can get the out. And that's going to be a strike. This is tough. That's going to be a low one. It's going to be 0-2. Davey Johnson. So here we go, bottom of the ninth inning, the 0-2. It'll be 1-2. So can Davey get on? Will Bergmeyer get that big first out? And that'll be to right field, and caught one out. Oh, can they pull the upset? That would be huge. Chico Salmon. Chico Salmon is coming up. He's going to hit. He's a pinch hitter. And Bellinger will be out. And Chico Salmon will be in. It'll be quickly 0-1, bottom of the ninth inning. They're looking for a base hit so they can have a winning run, and that's going to be a strike 0-2. If they can get somebody on, then that means the batter will be the winning run, and now outside 1-2. Chico Salmon. Bottom of the ninth, one out, nobody on. On the ground, and this will be third to first, and they get them 2 outs. The Orioles are down to their last out. Kansas City just had 2 good 3-run innings. Here's Don Buford, 0 for 3. It's their last hope. And fouled 0-1. The O's are a little bit. Oh, he went after that one. That was not a good one. And now 0-2 down to their final strike of the game 1. Best of 7. The inside 1-2. So here it is. Should be it. The Kansas City Royals up 3-0, down 5-3 in the last inning, come back, score 3 in the top of the ninth, and win the game 6-5. Now it's only game 1 of 7 games, but a shocking upset, more or less in the way they did it. Eddie Watt should get the loss. 3 in the top of the ninth. And that was huge. So you see the Royals 6, the Orioles 5. The Royals had 2 innings of 3 runs on 4 hits. And that was incredible. So that was May. And everybody like that. That was just a... There was the out. Merv Retmond at home plate. Then Elrod Hendricks with the home run. Lou Piniella. Bergmeyer with the save. Roger Nelson the win. Eddie Watt. Not only does he get a loss, but a collapse. Keogh was 1 for 3, a double. Piniella 1 for 4 and 2 RBI. Hopkins 1 for 3 and an RBI. Jerry May 1 for 3 and an RBI. Baltimore, Hendricks 1 for 4. He had that 2-run home run. Paul Blair 2 for 3, the RBI. Scored 2. Merv Retmond 2 for 4 and a double.
3 hours and 27 minutes.
And Frank Robinson 1 for 4, a double and an RBI. The box score for Kansas City, Patek had 2 hits. And when you go down, Drago was all right. It was good, actually. was all right. Fitzsimmons Nelson gets the win, and Bergmeyer gets the save in the last 3 innings. They gave up 1 hit. And that was it. On the other side, the Baltimore Orioles, Paul Blair had 2 hits. Merv Redmond had 2 hits. And when you look at this, Jim Palmer had a heck of a game. 5 strikeouts, no walks, but he did give up 3 earned runs and 4 hits. Eddie Watt gets the loss, 3 runs, all of them earned, with 2 walks and giving up 3 hits. He only got 1 out. And he gets the loss. Tom Dukes came in. Look at Eddie Watt's ERA is 81. Here's the pitcher for the Royals. Here's Drago, Bergmeyer, and Nelson. Fitzmorris. And for the Orioles, there's Palmer, Watt, Boswell, Dukes, and there is everything there. So for the Orioles, there's every batter. There's Bellinger, Blair, Robinson, Redmond, Salmon, Chico Salmon, Buford, Hendricks, Robinson, Powell, Johnson. And for the Royals, there's Lou Piniella, Patek, Bay, Hopkins, Keogh, Rojas, Oliver, Otis, Shaw. 6-5, Kansas City, a huge upset win. A very, very big upset win. The next game, the New York Yankees. The Oakland A's came back and won, so they're up 1-0. And then that's the 6th-rated Yankees against that's the 5th-ranked Yankees against 2nd-ranked Oakland. 6th-ranked Kansas City is up 1-0 in a huge upset. And then St. Louis, Pittsburgh, we haven't had the Pirates yet. And then LA and San Francisco. And in that game, LA is up 1-0. That's the way it is here. And that's going to be it for us today. Have a great day.